Thank you.
Senator, you say the pipeline will create tens of thousands of jobs during its construction, but some workers are already losing their jobs due to falling oil prices, and there are fears that more layoffs could occur. Do we really need the Keystone pipeline?
I think we do, because you have to look at the big picture. The big picture is that we're able to create more energy independence for ourselves, from our neighbors from Canada, from our own states of Montana and North Dakota, less dependence on Middle East oil. We know all the conflict going on in the Middle East. Look at the bigger picture. The more independence we can create, the better position we will be in as Americans. Plus, it's a great boost for consumers in terms of having low gas prices. When wages are not going up, they have more spending, and that is helpful for the economy.
Totally get that, but by some estimates, the U.S. is already on track to be the world's largest oil and gas producer. So isn't it clear we're already not dependent on oil from the Middle East?
Well, no, we're not dependent. We are dependent to a certain extent, but there's nothing wrong with having more independence. And if you take the long-term view,
like
in terms of
complete
stimulating the
100%
economy,
independence, is that what you're talking about? Because it's about 75% we depend on ourselves for oil and gas.
Given the uncertainty and the conflicts that are taking place in the Middle East, given the situation that exists down in Venezuela, which is one of our suppliers, with a very uncertain leadership and a country there in terms of reliance on that, it is in our best interest to strengthen our position. It's good for the consumer. It's very helpful at a time of sort of stagnant growth. It's good for temporary jobs, construction well into the 40,000s here. So, and 10 Democrats, I think, got the message, along with the Republicans and the rest of the world, in November, saying, we want you to work together on constructive efforts. This is one supported now on a bipartisan basis. I think the president's going to have to keep that in consideration before he just strikes a veto on this.
Right. Well, Senator, I heard you say temporary jobs. So once the pipeline's up and running, there'll be permanent jobs, and there'll be people working in the oil fields. And like I said, in North Dakota, for example, there are massive layoffs there in the oil industry because gas prices are so low and because oil prices have gone so low.
But if we
so
base the future,
is this more about politics than anything else?
No, if we base the future on the basis of what's happening here temporarily and the volatility of gas, we've seen it pop up to $4 and more. We've seen it drop. It'll go back. It'll settle out right now. We're in a down period, and that's a benefit for America. But let's take the long-range view on this. And look, every construction job is temporary, but this is going to be a several years-long project that's going to put 40-some thousand people to work at good wages. Is that not a helpful effort here in terms of getting our economy moving again? I just think we've come together in a bipartisan way here in the Congress of saying this is good for America, and we've seen both Republicans and Democrats now willing to work together.
But if the president already says he's going to veto this legislation if it passes, isn't it just a waste of time?
Well, presidents usually say that on a number of occasions. They want to perhaps negotiate something better. We'll see what this president does, but I think he's going to have to take into consideration that 10 of his members in the United States Senate, and look at what happened in November 2014 when they attached their future to the president. Just about every one of them lost. I think they've gotten the message on this. This is helpful, and it's for America, for our economy. And the president's going to have to take that into consideration before he just actually signs that veto.
All right, Senator Dan Coates, thanks as always. I appreciate you being with me.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.